now would have Mr. Ravi Singh, who is the Secretary General and CEO of WWF India since 2003. Prior to his appointment, Mr. Singh had a career as a banker, similar to what I do perhaps, and that's exactly what he said to me when I spoke to him. He also had some very fond memories of having met my father, and we all know the importance of WWF or World Wildlife Fund and what it has played in supporting several initiatives and several people with a passion for conservation over the past 4 to 5 decades. Over to Mr. Ravi Singh. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Singh.
Amy, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Thank you. My thanks and, of course, deep respects to all those in the audience who are sitting and listening to the greats who spoke before me. It's wonderful to hear Madhav Gadgil talking about the time of the 70s and, you know, the nurturing of young people from the Indian Institute of Science and the institutions of Bangalore and the region of southern India. It's great to hear about Zafar Fateh Ali, whom we think of very well. We also facilitated him a couple of events in WWF. We think very warmly of him. Also Ram Whitaker, who spoke about all the work that was started in the southern region of the WWF office, and the work of on crocodiles and turtles and gharials. He spoke about my old colleague Basu, who we remember very well, and the work that we did together on saving the gharials after the gharial crisis hit us in a winter of a particular year. Well beyond all these things, these initiatives are just as specific as they are general because they affect society as a whole. And I think learning this has been a major experience for many of us. The advent of chemicals and pesticides are affecting many of our aquatic species, as avian species as well. All this is well known. But I think we need to talk more about them, as well as the aspects of the knowledge of the communities that work in the areas, who live in the areas of the regions where many of us work, and all across the country. These are very important aspects. I met Mr. Parthasarathy once when I was in my I was pursuing my earlier career. This was in a meeting in Bangalore, and we had a very good interaction on the sidelines of the meeting, and I still remember that very clearly, as if it were yesterday.
You know, the beautiful part is, Mr. Ravi, is that I see a lot of people in the financial sector, and it's wonderful to have a banker heading WWF, because I would imagine raising funds and ensuring sustainability for the various activities related to wildlife conservation and climate change obviously require funding and require a sense of commitment, a long-term commitment. So I do feel that this is the great thing that, you know, we are seeing a shift of people like you moving from this industry into what is actually required.
Well, sometimes it happens because of happenstance. Sometimes it happens because it's something that for me is an abiding interest in my life. But coming on to the aspect of finance and other things, in the last 2 days you'll read articles in the Hindu on the challenges of climate finance and climate itself in mitigation and adaptation. And these complex aspects were taken up by some of us, and some of us who are present in your meeting as well, way back in the early start of the climate dialogues, where we felt that justice was not being done sufficiently to be able to change the trajectory of the development of some of the underdeveloped nations. So you're right in that case. Of course, in a larger sense, sustainability and business sustainability are one. And if we do not have sufficient water supplied to us in a certain form and at a certain time, our thermal plants will not run. If our thermal plants don't run, the entire knowledge base and the entire technological and the manufacturing base gets affected. So I think we as a nation have understood long the importance of nature and the contribution thereof to our work and our dialogue and our leadership of the world. I think it's important that, fora such as yours makes this a platform to take it ahead. This is a noble cause that we are addressing. It's a noble cause to be working for the conservation of species which are endangered, as much as it is a noble cause to work on aspects of adaptation for the communities so that they can adapt to what's going to come for the future, including areas like water, urban management, agriculture, all these aspects. And if we can make a little change in all this in our own direction, in our own contributions, I think we would have done a huge service to our nation here.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ravi, because what is important is for us to sensitize every human being and every person in India, and especially many of us who are engaged in corporate and professional life, who need to understand that this is not a situation that we can ignore. I guess because climate change and all these issues are not staring us in the face, we somehow seem that this is not our problem, and we kind of sweep it under the carpet. But you being at the helm of one of the leading organizations in the world, WWF, coming from a banking and investment banking profession, will surely mean and make a mark to many other professionals in our space to follow your footsteps. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ravi, and look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thank you.